Which one do they have to get right to succeed in 2026?
I don't think there's any question it has to be a defensive coordinator. We got to find a way to get stops. You cannot win football games if you can't get stops. And this team was the worst in the world. All of professional football. The entire world, nobody was worse than the Washington Commanders on defense.
But I would flip that and say,
we're the worst in the world.
You got to keep your star quarterback healthy.
Yes.
And you've got to keep him out there.
That's also true. But, you maybe you can hand off and grind out like a 10-9 game or something, Jason. But you got to be able to make stops. Like, it's gross. I'm an
offensive guy, but I can see where you're going with that.
You don't understand the pain. Maybe you do. I know you watch the games, but you watch it objectively. You don't care. You know how painful it is to never get stops?
Yeah.
To just watch them run right up the gut, play after play after play.
Soul-crushing.
15-play drives, 16-play drives.
Yeah.
Have it for 9 minutes. You can't win that way. It's by far the most important.
At first, I thought it was offensive coordinator in a landslide, but then I was like, you have to be able to at least make a few stops here and there. You just can't have the league's worst defense. Like, I'm not expecting whoever comes in to turn it around to a top 5 or top 10 defense. Just get close to the top half, 15th to 20th. I think that's a good turnaround. You would take that sort of improvement because I feel like the OC with Blau, like there's familiarity there, and as long as Jaden stays healthy and starts 15 games, and you add another decent wideout to the mix, they could have something that they could work with on offense and be okay on offense.
Okay, let's be clear. It's a trick question. They're equal. But to answer this question in particular, I don't think the coach is the reason they finished dead last. They made a coaching change. They went from Joe Witt to Dan Quinn, who's supposed to be this great defensive guru. And they finished last because of the personnel.
That's also true.
I would say this team, the most important thing is they got to get Jaden right. Mm-hmm. We're going to talk about this later. There's a guy from NFL.com that has Jaden in the 5th tier of quarterbacks now.
Whatever.
Nick Shook. I think that's his name.
Nick Shook.
From NFL.com.
Whatever. Who's Nick Shook? I literally never heard of Nick Shook.
He's an NFL.com guy.
All right. What about Nick Shook?
But I would say, and if you want to chime in, 1-800-636-1067, I would say they're equally as important. Like, you have to get stops, yes, but you have to score.
You could score. You can kick field goals. You could do some marginal stuff on offense. You have to get stops.
I don't like the kicking field goals approach.
I'm not suggesting I like it, Case. Right. I'm suggesting you can maybe try to win a defensive struggle. We're not going to win. I thought we were going to win shootouts last year. Mm-hmm. That didn't work. We went backwards on offense. We have to get stops.
Yeah, but in year
we're
one...
We're the worst defense in the world.
In year one, their defense sucked. Okay? Their defense was terrible, and they went 12-5.
Not as bad as this. It was worse.
I understand they were dead last.
But your point is, do you need players? Of course. Players are more important than coaches. That goes
I think the offense, getting the coordinator right, is more important because, let's say, halfway through this season, he realizes he hired the wrong defense coordinator. He can fall back on himself again.
Yeah, but he wasn't that great doing that either.
No.
I know.
And it was because they didn't have the players healthy.
Right.
They just didn't have enough guys.
Well, I said the players is the most important factor.
In my opinion,
Quinn, even healthy, they didn't have great personnel on defense.
True.
Quinn can't get away with pulling the rug out from whoever the new DC is 10 games in.
He can't do that.
Say, give me your play calling sheet. I'm taking over. That can't happen again.
Well, if you pick the wrong guy, you do it.
Then if that happens
again,
then Dan Quinn better start packing
Of course,
his bags.
it would be damning, but I'm just saying that if he picks the wrong guy and the guy's terrible, you pull the plug. I think the offensive hire is more important because Jason prefaced it. They got to get Jaden right. They have to keep Jaden healthy. That's the only chance this team is going to win.
If you have the worst I don't care. You can maybe point to some outlier. You can't have the 32nd worst defense, not make stops, and win.
Go
to the playoffs. Not possible.
I know, but my point is, this argument is, okay, let's say you get the best coordinator on one side and a jag, just an average guy on the other side. Which situation is better? I'll take the best offensive coordinator and take an average defensive coordinator versus the other scenario.
They would kill.
Because the truth is, they're equally as important.
But they would kill for average. They're the absolute worst.
If you're going to ask me if I have to choose, I'm going to say offensive coordinator.
I'm with you.
I don't like it.
I agree that they're both important.
Of course.
But I'm going to say it's an offensive league. You got your best player is your quarterback. You got to find a way to keep him upright, and better. It's got to get better. I think it's offensive coordinator.
I feel like they've already got it handled. They feel like David Blau is an ascending superstar that they couldn't leave the building.
You might be
he was
right.
so valuable and so coveted by other teams.
Let's see.
So hopefully that's the case. They got to nail the defensive coordinator.
In my opinion, they have a future Hall of Famer at quarterback.
Yeah.
Okay, I've said that from day one.
Mm-hmm.
You're not going to get off that.
I hope you're right.
I hope I'm right.
As long as you admit
right
that the guy in New England's a future Hall of Famer.
Maybe. Am I wavering a little bit because of his availability? I am.
Yeah.
Okay, but assuming he's healthy, future Hall of Famer. I could coach a future Hall of Famer. Okay. When you have that kind of generational talent, you don't have to have the world's greatest coach. We got hot garbage on defense. That needs elite coaching. I think players matter more.
The gap, I feel like the gap between defensive and offense is so big that you need.
That's why it's more important.
Yeah, you need to fix that.
In a vacuum, maybe I would say, yeah, it's an offensive league. You know, I'd rather have a better offense than a defense. No. We're talking about we have the worst professional defense on the planet Earth. There's no other professional team on the planet worse than ours.
They weren't, but they also had who had more injuries on defense.
We had all that too.
Well, they had a lot.
Yeah.
I mean, to key guys,
a lot of those guys,
Dietrich
frankly, were
Wise
bums too.
And they're going to get better players.
There were
and hopefully
injuries
stay
to
healthy.
bums, but there were injuries to key pieces like Dietrich Wise and Dorrance Armstrong early. Like, hopefully those guys are back, but you need a guy who's adept at running a high-caliber NFL defense.
It's an
They have him. Dan Quinn is adept at running a high-caliber defense.
I don't mean Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn doesn't want to do that on a full-time basis. He's said as much. They need to. You know what? This guy's a zero personality-wise. Bring in Jonathan Gannon. Pay him whatever you have to pay him. Pay him $3 million a year. Say, you have to get this defense ranked 15th or better in year one. Hopefully nudging towards the top 10. Have at it.
It's damning your defensive-minded head coach can't figure out defense.
It's because he doesn't have the personnel.
Because ultimately players are more important.
Whether it's with coordinator or he's calling plays, it's kind of damning.
Maybe I think it's because I agree with JP. I think it's more because we don't have the players.
Look,
we don't have the personnel.
They also got ahead of themselves because they thought that they were Super Bowl contenders, and they went out and acquired older, broken down guys like Marshawn Lattimore. They acquired Von Miller in the offseason, who's 36 years old.
Who led the team in sacks, by the way.
Right.
Well, that points to your defensive deficiencies. If you're bringing in Von Miller.
I mean, he had a good year for his age.
When you look at what Von did, like in terms of the number of, I also argue that they were somewhat unimpactful because the whole season was unimpactful. But by the sheer volume, like the number of snaps he got, and then he got 9.5.
He didn't play a ton of snaps, and he racked up nearly double-digit sacks.
Played like a third of the snaps at best. I don't know. I don't even think it's close. We have a generational player on offense, some complementary pieces. We have legit garbage on defense. We need to obviously upgrade the players, but we need the benefit of elite coaching on defense more than we need it on offense.
Yeah.
All right,
Jason Bishop could coach up Jaden Daniels.
All right, so
I don't know about that.
Extreme examples, but I just want to hear. So the choices are bum and best. So if you have one coordinator that's a bum and one that's the best, you'd rather have the bum coordinator be on offense and the best be on defense.
Why does he have to be a bum? Why can't he be just...
Because I'm giving you an extreme scenario.
Average.
Because you made it a choice.
I'll make it a choice. How about
with your
an
question.
average on one side or elite on the other? Because average is run of the mill.
But I'm giving you bum or best.
Well, I mean, bum is particularly demeaning. Like
it's a hypothetical.
Okay, sure. I'll work with you.
David Blau, the bum, and I need the best defensive coordinator.
Okay.
Because I'm relying on
I want the best offensive coordinator.
Skill set.
I want Josh McDaniels if that's the guy.
That's who I was thinking of,
What are you going to do when Jaden's just sitting there nonplussed on the bench for 12 minutes of the first quarter? Because we can't make a stop.
Because they're going to be
not gonna help.
Because offensively they're going to be on the field long enough where they're not going to have to give up, 25 to 30 points.
We're not going to score every possession. Even
Well, I mean, they scored a lot in his rookie year. Did they average 28 a game?
It's too slim a margin.
28.5.
It's
28 and a half, and they won 14 games.
Hey,
too slim a margin.
And the defense wasn't great.
The Jaden Daniels Revenge Tour 2026 is going to be sweet.
The
It's
what?
gonna take the
hope you're
Jaden
right.
Revenge Tour in 2026 is going to be sweet.
Let's wait and see.
It's going to be
you're
something to behold.
I'm talking the
Just
talk,
wait.
but I'm not sure I'm feeling as much as I'm talking it.
Okay.
I'm talking it into
So
existence.
this is false bravado. Is that what you're
Well,
saying?
I just don't know if he can stay healthy. I do have that. That really scares me.
Nobody knows.
Yeah. All right, 800-636-1067. Your chance to chime in. What's the more important hire for this particular team?
Just comparing 2024 to 2025 in terms of offense and defense when you look at yardage. Their offense in 2024 was putting up about 370 yards per game. It dropped to 318. So let's just round it, say minus 52. Their defense went from giving up 327.5 to 384. So give that just round it up, I don't know, 60. I mean, they both were. I mean, it goes hand in hand. Like, that's the whole complimentary football thing is the offense not being on the field as much and sustaining drives and putting up points hurt their defense this year.
Well, also Jaden Daniels not being on the field hurt the offense in games.
But give me the best defensive coordinator in the game. You want to say it's D'Amico Ryans? We just watched it, so prisoner of the moment. D'Amico Ryans is a head coach, but I believe he calls the plays. He's heavily involved. But D'Amico Ryans running the Commanders' defense this year. So I'll just say he's the best, or you can pick who do you think's the best defensive coordinator in the game.
Right.
The Commanders' defense still sucks because he doesn't have Daniil Hunter.
No,
he doesn't have Will
players,
Anderson.
But I might bet if we had the best defensive coordinator in the world, we wouldn't be the worst defense in the world.
Right, they might
Which
be
is
like,
we currently
they might be
own
25th.
We currently have the belt. Worst defense on the planet.
So
Professionally.
This year.
you think Brian Flores?
But it's not going to be the worst next year.
So give a bag to Brian Flores, who might get a head coaching job.
Oh, if Brian Flores was in the mix just for a DC, yeah, you would go. You would make him the highest paid defense coordinator in the league to come in and fix your terrible defense. But he's going to be in the mix for head coaching gigs.
Guess what?
Now,
Guess what happened to Brian Flores' defense, who it finished number 3 this year? Okay, Vikings great defense. They make the playoffs
no,
because the offense.
because they JJ McCarthy leading the way when he was. It was just a mess.
Yeah,
That's our point.
because he was hurt.
Yeah, kind of the same way they had
He wasn't
Marcus
good,
Mariota
but he
and
was
Josh
also
Johnson.
Yeah, but JP, you can't mitigate how important a defensive coordinator is by saying Brian Flores made his defense 3rd in the league, and you can't name a single superstar on Minnesota's defense.
I'm not. First of all, I said it's a trick question. It's the truth is they're equally important.
If I were
Do
Josh
you
Harris,
disagree with that?
I would disagree with that in the sense of this team.
I don't know.
if I were Dan Quinn, I would walk up to Josh Harris and say, send your jet to Minnesota, make sure Brian Flores gets on it, bring him here, offer him 50% more than the highest current defensive coordinator makes, and make him our DC. Now, he's probably going to balk at that because he's going to try for a head gig,
who
which
was
he
it that
should.
you're saying?
Flores.
Yeah, he wants Flores.
If you
yeah.
say he's the guy, I'll trust you.
Pay him $3.5 million. I don't care how much you have to pay him.
I would say,
whatever it takes.
I would say for just a generic NFL franchise that's out there, I think on the whole, if you had an elite offensive coordinator and then presumably then you had some elite talent on offense, could you win with an average NFL defense? Yes. And so if you had like an average coordinator, maybe that would work. But can you work with an average offense and a terrible
defense?
Yeah, I just don't think it's hard.
It's hard both ways.
All right, we'll take your calls when we
Because
come
if your
back.
players are better and you have an average coordinator, I think the players will make up for that.
Right.
But I'd rather have the better coordinator keep my quarterback on the field and scoring points.
Which is more crucial to the Commanders' success in 2026? Is it getting the OC hire right or the DC hire right? 800-636-1067. We'll take your calls on that next.